And good Sunday morning to everyone. Thanks for joining the Great Lakes Divide live stream here on YouTube, powered by FederalWilliams.com. That's FEDERAU Williams.com. Contact Mike Williams for all of your real estate needs, whether you're buying or selling in the state of Michigan. Again, that's FederalWilliams.com, FEDERAU Williams.com. I'm your host, Adam Biggers. You can follow me on Twitter at AdamBiggers81. You can follow Great Lakes Divide at GL Divide. And find us on Facebook at Great Lakes Divide. Don't forget to download the podcast. We have the podcast tab. And they're also available on iTunes and Spotify, which turned 10 years old today. I learned that in the morning. So we're going to not really recap. It's not going to be a play-by-play, but we're going to discuss, obviously, Michigan's 21-7 win. We'll go over the predictions, players of the game, that sort of thing, who was right, who was wrong. We'll talk about Tarik Black. I'm not wearing a hat today because I ate it upon a bet. I had to eat my hat, and actually, I'm not eating my hat, but I just got a haircut, so why not? I'm going to tell you why I'm not eating my hat. Tarik Black was out there. I did say that I expected to see Tarik back before Rashan Gary. We'll talk about Rashan Gary, too. Not playing against Michigan State. He did not travel. Speculation is running amok. We'll talk about Chase Winovich's post-game comments. Do you like the little brother term coming back? Yes or no? I know a lot of Michigan fans were like, that was a curse. Mike Hart, 2007. Do you guys like the term little brother? So give me an opportunity real quick to, excuse me, I'm going to tweet the live links and then I'll get into the chat. And thanks to everybody who watched yesterday. I've had probably the biggest day, I think, in terms of views on YouTube ever. With exception to, what bowl game was that? It was the Orange Bowl when the reporter asked Harbaugh the bikini question. That video got like 100,000 hits. But yesterday was a great day, so thanks for watching. Thanks for following. Had a lot of fun. If you guys caught the live stream during the weather delay, Ryan Schuling and I had a lot of fun during that. So give me a second here. I'm going to... We'll talk about Mark Dantonio. You guys have seen the video. What do you think? And then Harbaugh was pretty adamant with his Bush League. I'm telling you, that press conference last night, it went from kind of like you could sense Michigan in a victorious mood, and then also there was kind of another mood about it because Michigan felt disrespected. There were some things that went on. We'll talk about it behind the scenes. I was able to confirm some things with the Michigan Athletic Department, and so again, it's easy to kind of assume, and people are going to have different takes and everything. I'm going to tell you guys what I know, what I was able to confirm. So, all right. Put it on our Facebook page. You can follow us on Facebook. It's at Great Lakes Divide. All right, we're tweeted up. Oh, the chat filled up very quickly. Hold on. Aaron Wise says, hey, Adam. Hey, Aaron. Big Brother says, huge win. Best game I've ever been to. With exception of the weather delay, right? That was horrible. That was horrible. Muhammad Malik said, it's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Matt Crittenden says, face Mark Dantonio. DB. Rock City says, what up, Adam? Hey, Rock City. What's going on? Michigan fan says, what is up, guys? What a great game. William Gentino says it's a great day to be a Michigan Wolverine. Both rivals went down. Yeah, Ohio State, guys, we talked to, did we not call this or did we not call this? I'm telling you, at least 3 or 4 of you guys brought that up as far as, hey, watch out, is Ohio State on upset alert? We talked about that. And I remember mentioning it to Ryan yesterday when we were doing our post-game wrap-up at Michigan State. Wouldn't it be weird if Ohio State lost to Purdue? Ohio State didn't just lose to Purdue. Ohio State got its butt kicked. This goes back now, guys. I've been saying for the past 3 weeks, Michigan is the best one-loss team in college football. I think that there is no doubting that now after a win over Wisconsin, a huge win over Wisconsin, in a game that felt like a blow. Both of these games, put it this way, I had a question, and we talked about this. And guys, hold on with the comments for a second. I want to be able to catch up. But we talked about this, right? A good team can beat good teams and play well, right? a really good team / great team, what can it do? It can blow out good teams. It can blow out rivals. It can perform well in big games. I'm done talking about the Notre Dame game. That Notre Dame game, Notre Dame's still undefeated. That Notre Dame game, actually, if you look at it, and we talked about this in week 1, we're going to be looking at this Notre Dame game and saying, what did Michigan learn from that, and how did it get to the point right now? And yesterday, 21-7 win over Michigan State, like I said, it should have probably been like a 31. It should have been maybe like a repeat of what Harbaugh was able to do in 85, 31-0. I mean, it had that feel. We'll go over the stats and everything. So I just wanted to put that out there. Alan Pinkney says, hat for breakfast. I ate it. With syrup. I'm not eating my hat, but going hatless today because I was trying to prove a point that I'm not going to eat it, but man, I just won't wear it. But Tarik was out there for, I don't know how many. I didn't get a total play count. I mean, maybe 8 or 9 plays total. He was not targeted. I think he was out there more as a decoy. But then again, I mean, if you don't plan on really using him, and I had a discussion I was able to confirm this with Michigan's athletic department. He was expected to see the field. It's going to be to a limited capacity. So Tarik did play. He did participate. He's on the sheet. I said I would eat my hat if he played. But I'm going with a loophole here, and I'm sorry. I'm snaking my way out of this one. But symbolically, I ate my hat for you, Alan. Joe Brocato said he played, but he was just as a decoy. Yep, Michigan fan says, where's the hat? You need to eat it. I ate it, guys. It was good. Brandon Gamble says, who's got it better than us? I don't know. Ask Jim Harbaugh. I don't. If you're Michigan right now, you're riding pretty high and you're feeling really good about yourself. Again, that was we'll go over the stats. That was a dominant win. 21-7 does not really describe it. Jay Stevens says, if Ohio State and Michigan win out and then Ohio State beats Michigan, would Ohio State be the Big Ten champion? Hold on. If Ohio State and Michigan both win out, but I mean, how can they both win out when they face each other at the end of the year? Okay, and then Ohio State beats Michigan. Would Ohio State be the Big Ten champion? Yes. Because it had the head-to-head. The big brother says, yes, we were chanting it at the MSU players as they left the field. Muhammad Malik says, I like the winning mentality coming back. We just have to back up Chase's words. Yeah, Chase, we'll talk about Chase. Rock City says, statement game or just business as usual? That was a statement, Rock City, all the way. Michigan fan says, how bad did you burn your leg from that cut? Luckily, I didn't burn my leg, but I was wearing these light-colored pants. They're kind of like a grayish color, and it's got like these light blue and white, like checkered pattern in it, whatever. And I spilled it on my left thigh, and I got some on this part of my, like the elbow of my shirt and everything. And so I didn't burn myself, and I don't think, I mean, coffee comes out pretty easy in the wash. I actually have to throw those in the wash, so thanks for reminding me on that. But yeah, if you guys want, yes, so coffee, rain delay, and then coming home on I-69, there was like a massive wreck that had traffic at a near standstill for like, I don't know, 5 to 10 miles. I mean, it was long. It took me about a half hour to get through that mess. And was anybody coming home? Anybody going east of East Lansing yesterday? I-69 toward Flint. It was like in the Durand area, Bancroft, Durand area. Just traffic just stood still. So I had the coffee incident, the weather delay, and then the delay getting home. So yesterday was kind of I don't want to say it was rough, but yeah, it was kind of a rough day. Okay, yeah. Let's start with Mark Dantonio thing, guys. Matt Crittenden says Dantonio's a liar. He knows his little run is over. I'm not going to go to that extent, but I will say this. Mark Dantonio, I've seen the video. We've all seen screenshots. I've talked to Michigan. I was able to talk to some players, and this is what happened. So prior to Michigan State coming out, Michigan athletic staff members were told to leave the field. These guys are all over the place, right? So it's not like they can just instantly communicate and everything. They were told, I don't know exactly how long, they didn't say, but they were told moments before. The players weren't told that they had to get out the field until a little bit after that. And by that time, I don't even think they had really, all of them had gotten the message. Evidently, Lawrence Marshall and Devin Bush didn't. So Lawrence Marshall's out there. Michigan State's walking hand in hand. across the field. And I mean, it was blatant. There's no other way. I don't know if you call it clothesline. When I think clothesline, I'm thinking up here on the neck. It was clipping, definitely, across the body. And then they ripped off Lavert Hill's headphones. All hell broke loose. Mark Dantonio kind of denying that knowing. Mark Dantonio was close enough to see. I've seen the video. And he said that Harbaugh said that he was like 5 feet behind. Well, he's like 5 yards behind at one point, but he was definitely close enough still to see. Grant Newsom confirmed on Twitter as well that Mark Dantonio was in close proximity. In the video, it does look like he's smirking. If you look out, say this is a player's shoulder, right? A player walking. You can see Mark Dantonio's head right here. So based on where his head is in relation to that player, he's not too far behind, right? And you can see him like this, and you can definitely see cheek muscles, face muscles, like this. So I don't know if he was smiling or if he just had his grin wide, but you could see him with his head down like this. Watch the video. It's plain as day. So I'm not buying, Mark Dantonio's BS. I mean, it's on video. You could clearly see that he was close enough to. It's one thing. Okay, did he know about it? No, I don't know. We don't know about that. But okay, if you see that happen, you're close enough. Be a coach and say, get over there and break it up. He didn't even intervene. So I'm not with Mark Dantonio on this. I'm calling BS on Mark Dantonio's BS comment. I mean, the video's there, and Harbaugh called it Bush League. It has definitely now, the tone was very respectful throughout the week, at least publicly. It's not any longer like that. Look, Chase Winovich revived the little brother comment. You had the Bush League comment from Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh acknowledged that this rivalry has now taken a dip in terms of respect. The hatred is back. It's not like brotherly respect. Hey, how you guys doing? Let's play a football game today and good game. No, it's we want to annihilate you on the field now. And Michigan's got that fire in them. And really, if you're Michigan, is the bye week now? Is this a good time or is this a bad time? Because you're hotter than ever. And playing Penn State is not going to be an easy task. But then again, bye week, good timing, let guys rest up. We'll talk about Rashan Gary. So I did want to address that Mark Dantonio point. I mean, the video's there. The only discrepancy is the distance. Harbaugh said 5 feet. Well, in the video, about 5 yards. But then again, when that happened with Lawrence Marshall, he was a little bit closer because, like I said, in the video, you could see his head is right here with a helmeted player. So let's assume that player is 6'2", right? And that helmet adds a couple inches. So the crown of that helmet's probably about 6'4", right? Let's just assume that. Average size for D1 football player. Mark Dantonio's head is about 5 to 6 inches below that. So how far back is Mark? And Mark Dantonio, I think, is like 6'2". 6'1". I mean, I'm not a math expert, but I mean, logic says if his head's right here, he's not too far behind him, right? So, getting to your comments, Asim Lodi says, hold on, sorry. And my dogs are barking. Mike D'Antonio. His name's Mark Dantonio, guys. At least use his name. Mark Dantonio is a POS. We all saw him smile behind the hole. I mean, I'm telling you, it looks to me like he cracked a grin. I'm not going to say he's a POS. I'm not going to throw names and sort like that, but I am calling BS on his BS comment, and he was right there. I mean, he was right there. So, Alan Pinkney says Mark was definitely behind smiling. Michigan fan says this was a huge statement again. Public Pursuit says good win, but should have been 45-0. They left some points on the field, Public Pursuit. Definitely. Asim adds, funny thing is that we could have won by much more. We dominated this game. Let me know when you guys want to get into the stats. Alan Pinkney says should have been easily 35-7. Do you agree? 31. 31-7. Yeah, in that neighborhood. I don't think you're too far off. Jay Marion says they are freaking out here in Ohio, and rightfully so. They should be. Alan Pinkney's, okay, I already read that. Machine Unit says, I really like the fact that we didn't act like this was just business. We made it personal. We acknowledged the rivalry, and we gave them our full attention instead of being arrogant. Hey guys, I mean, it's always been personal for Michigan State, right? I mean, you can't just go into these games thinking, okay, this is a rivalry. We want to play well. Look, it's total PC talk when they said every week is the same, but no, it is not, and it's clear. It's personal. You don't do the Paul Bunyan with the little head wobble in the ed zone if it's not personal. These aren't just subliminal shots. These are like deep rooted in the riot. The Paul Bunyan pose to me is going to go down as one of the greatest touchdown celebrations ever, definitely in Michigan history. I mean, if you think of Desmond's Heisman pose, I mean, yeah, that's great, and he did win the Heisman, but later in the year, that's Donovan Peoples-Jones right there telling them, look, it's over. That was the backbreaker. I mean, Ben Mason's touchdown. Michigan dominated this game in every single facet, and I was surprised that Karan got 100 yards. I didn't think he was going to get 100. He ended up with like 104. I was thinking he was going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 85 to 90. So Karan carried the ball. Let's get into some stats real quick. Karan carried the ball 33 times, 144 yards. Yeah, and that 38-yard run. So yeah, if you take out that 38-yard run, he just barely eclipses 100. I didn't think he was going to get 100. But Michigan rushed for 183 total yards on the number 1 ranked rushing defense. You guys were asking me about that all the time. Was this? And we pointed to Miles Sanders. Look, Karan Higdon damn near did the same thing yardage-wise against Michigan State as Miles Sanders did. So there were a lot of questions answered in this game. A lot of questions that we had during these live streams. So James Seward says, "Awesome day, great day for the Wolverines and the Dodgers." Rich Hill is a Michigan alum. James Seward, I'm sure that you're aware of that. The Big Brother says, "Should have been a shutout. They scored on a trick play. That was it." A little reverse and then Stewart to Lewerke for the touchdown. That was it. We weren't even able to get into field goal range. I mean, this was a thorough domination by Michigan. Joe Bricado says Michigan is running the ball on anyone right now. It's imposing its will on others. And look, why is that? Again, we talked. I gave my MVP. My score prediction was 24-13, Michigan. My defensive player of the game was Josh Metellus. Well, I was wrong on that. I mean, Josh had a good game. There's so many guys you could pick. So I mean, it's rolling the dice basically. My offensive player of the game, co-offensive players, was going to be Shane Karan, which I think is fair. But I mean, again, look at that offensive line. And no, I do not have an update on Juwan Bushell-Beatty. I was asked that on Twitter. No update on Juwan Bushell-Beatty. We'll talk about Rashan Gary, and we'll get into the other injury updates. I believe Jalen Mayfield, last Michigan confirmed, and we haven't seen him since. Jalen Mayfield's banged up. But again, we'll go into what we can confirm. Someone tweeted me saying that I tweeted that Michael Dwumfor looked good in warm-ups with the defensive line. And sometimes it's, you can confuse the numbers. And some guys, I mean, I know the difference when I see Mike Onwenu and when I see Michael Dwumfor. But I mean, every now, like a couple weeks ago, I thought I saw Tarik Black. It was actually Khalid Cutson, so I apologize on Twitter. That was my fault. But anyway, someone said, someone reported that Michael Dwumfor was in a walking boot. Michael Dwumfor was not in a walking boot. Michael Dwumfor had a pretty good game. So let me know when we want to get into these stats, though. But in terms of running the ball, Michigan answered the question. Can it run the ball? I mean, it ran the ball down the throat of the number 1 ranked rushing defense in the country. I think that's a question that's answered. Morning, Adam. Go Blue. Hey, Jeremy. Thanks for watching. Alan Pitney said, "I watched this whole game. Isaiah Pryor looked horrible." Big Brother says 15 rushing yards. Exactly. RPJ, Rashan Peoples-Jones, says, "Yo, Adam, just joining. Please tell me on that touchdown catch by DPJ, he did the Paul Bunyan stance as a celebration or what?" No, he definitely did. When you have your hands on your hips, your elbows out like that, and you do a little head bobble, look at the Paul Bunyan statue. He's in that same pose. Of course he did it. And if you're just joining, I said that goes down as one of the greatest touchdown celebrations in college football, in my opinion, and definitely in Michigan history. Yeah, the Desmond Howard, if you guys are old enough to remember Desmond striking the pose. Yeah, Charles Woodson wanted to do that, but he got mobbed. I saw a piece on that, and he told the story. He wanted to do the Heisman pose, but he got mobbed by everybody before he had the chance. I'm trying to think of some other great. I mean, we see some other celebrations and everything, but how many of them are like that? Are it's rivalry specific? It's Paul Bunyan. You know what it is when he's doing it. I mean, yeah, other guys can. There's all these other generic ones. They can do the little bowling thing. They can, take the pictures. They can do all these little high fives and stuff. But what strikes a chord? Like, what is personal? You know what I mean? And that's what I like about it. Is it wasn't just some generic, there, like I said, there's all different types of touchdown celebrations. I mean, the Heisman pose, that's a good one and then Desmond went on to later win the Heisman. But I mean, the Paul Bunyan thing is like I don't know how else you can rub someone's face in it more than doing that. Donovan Peoples-Jones, that's going to be a highlight that we see in all these Michigan State hype videos for the rest of our lives. I mean, that's how I think it was an iconic moment, I think. Not overstretching it. I really do. I mean, when you do the Paul Bunyan, you got the head bob in there. You can't do it any better than that. The leg stance. There was so much intent behind that. Public Pursuit says offense still needs some work. If offense can get even better, they'll go to the playoffs. Let's see. What else do we have? Jay Stevens says, how many NFL draft picks does Michigan have? On this team right now, Rashan, Devin, probably David Long, Vert Hill, Chase Winovich. I don't know if Furbush has an opportunity, I think, to play in the NFL, but I mean, he wants to be a pilot. He's going to go in the military after he graduates, he said. Did I say Tarik yet? Tarik. I mean, we're looking at 7 probably just off the bat. I mean, Brian Monet could be a draft pick. Lawrence Marshall. I mean, they might, or undrafted free agents, late round guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys on Michigan's defense that have Sunday potential, certainly. Big Brother says it was the Paul Bunyan pose, and I don't know if you're ever going to see a better touchdown celebration than that. James Stewart, and it was subtle. All you got, just the pose, no other stuff, no fancy dancing around, nothing else like that. He went standard celebration with his teammates. Couldn't have been more ideal, though. I mean, I'm telling you, this is going to be a highlight that we see for the rest of our lives, especially in all these Michigan State hype videos. James Stewart says Iowa has a chance to win the West. Need Michigan to win out so that way they finish with them in their revenge tour. Carol Jones said, I said Michigan by 14. Yeah, before we go to the stats, guys, and if you want to talk about, I think we've covered the Dantonio thing, so we could scratch that off the board. Chase Winovich, real quick poll. Do you guys like the little brother term, yes or no? Do you like its revival, yes or no? So I'll wait a couple minutes for that, a couple seconds, however long, and then we'll rattle off our who's close, what were your score predictions. Robert Potsman says, I like how they let Hudson go through the line. Yeah, they let Khalid go through, but then they decided to test one of the biggest guys on that team, Lawrence Marshall. Jeremy Turner with a $2.99 super chat comment. I appreciate it, Jeremy. We won by 14 on the road. Take the win. Go blue. And I'm trying to catch up here. Josh Uche was very good yesterday. Haiti Live Radio, Claremont says, I think DPJ celebration was well rehearsed. I'm telling you, that was a good one. Bruce McGraw says, good morning, Adam. Hey, Bruce, the Gov is JBB. Okay. I do not know. And the Gov here's some topics. I forgot. I said we'd start with them, and then I forgot. So hold on. The Gov. Name my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at AdamBiggers81. All right. Is Juwan Bushell-Beatty okay? I don't know. Is Gary out for the season? Easy to speculate. Not sure. No official word. Has your prediction against Ohio State changed at this point? Yes, it has. Were there other Michigan injuries we don't know about? Nothing that we can confirm yet. Status of Tarik Black. Was he a diversion yesterday? I think it's safe to say that he was a diversion. He did get on the field, though. Uche is the real deal. Yes, he is. Michigan fan says Metellus. I mean, Bruce McGraw said, I figured Purdue would challenge Ohio State. I didn't expect a beat down. I thought maybe there's a chance, like Purdue does some funky stuff, and you know it's a close win. 49-20, no way. That's one of the greatest wins in Purdue football history, and one of the biggest upsets I think in recent Big Ten memory. Matt the Destroyer said, I also hear about Noah Furbush, but I seem to never see him on the field. He's been playing special teams. He has, yeah, right. And I mentioned that yesterday to a friend of mine. And yeah, I mean, he's playing special teams. But we have not seen a lot of him at linebacker lately. Antoine Johnson says, yes, Don Brown is the real genius to save the game for Michigan because Michigan likes to play struggle football when they have a 5-star quarterback. Public Pursuit says, loves the little brother term when we win. Yeah, guys, let's cover that real quick. Little brother, real quick. Little brother term little brother. Let me spit it out. Blah, blah, blah. Yes or no? I get a yes. Hey, Adam, says Nick Johnson. Robert Prosser says, I love it. MSU's gotten lucky to beat Harbaugh, the punt, and the rainforest, even when they lose their little brother. Harbaugh, the 2-2, but I mean, realistically, it should be 3-1, right? And then, I mean, last year, 14-10. The only games that haven't been close have been the road games for Michigan. 32-23 in 2016. I expected a blowout in that game. Didn't see it, but Michigan still had command of that. You know, losing 27-23 at home, 14-10 at home. You have craziness involved. I mean, the weather again yesterday. I saw Michigan fans on Twitter. They're like, oh no, this benefits Michigan State. Catch of the day, though, was Michigan State punter Tyler Hunt. You can't deny that. In the rain, one-handed, and then got off the rugby-style kick. You got to say that was a catch of the day. That may have been Michigan State's play of the game, other than Lewerke. I don't know. Connor Hayward had a nice catch. Michigan State's offense just wasn't working. Then, of course, Felton Davis going out. He's done. His career at Michigan State's over. Unfortunately, Achilles injury. You hate to see that. Great receiver, Felton Davis. That is a massive, massive, massive blow to Michigan State. Massive, massive blow. So are we going over the stats? What are we doing, guys? Antoine Johnson says Uche should start and Gary should be a defensive tackle. Carlos Gilliam says, what's going on with Chris Evans? Why wasn't Karan in the game? Hold on, these things are going really fast, guys. If I miss it, just please resubmit it. All right, Carlos, it says, what's going on with Chris Evans? Why wasn't Karan in the game that close to the goal line on that Chris Evans fumble? That could have changed the game. What do you think, Adam? And I think they wanted to give Chris an opportunity. And obviously it's an untimely fumble and not what Michigan wanted. But, I think they wanted to give Chris an opportunity. So I don't think it was – they knew that they were going to be riding Karan Higdon. Karan got 33 carries. That's a career high. Second time this year he's had 30 plus. He had 30 against, Nebraska? And he hadn't carried the ball 30 times since high school. So, I think it was just an opportunity to give Chris an opportunity. So what do I think? Yes, that's what I think about it. Frezzy Boy 32GD says, Michigan offense is fine. People don't understand how much impact it does when you can run the ball. It's not all about throwing the ball. Look at Ohio State. I don't have any major concerns about Michigan's offense. I've been asked about Shea Patterson's decision-making. With Shea, you're going to take a loss sometimes. There's going to be one bad play. Harbaugh even said yesterday, there was one bad play where rather than handing it off to Karan, he should have taken it himself. There was one bad play. But, you're going to get 9 or 10. It's going to be a 90-10 difference here with Shea Patterson. 90 being the good, 10 being the bad. So, I don't have a problem. Shea Patterson's playing at a level that he is becoming a star quarterback at Michigan. He doesn't have the stat stuffer every Saturday. The mega numbers and everything. But this guy is just making plays upon plays. And look, he's already had 2 career highs back to back in two of the biggest games of the season. He had a career high 81-yard run against Wisconsin. That's a career high touchdown pass, 79 yards for both Shea and Donovan Peoples-Jones. So I mean, it doesn't matter. Shea completes 14 to 25 for what, 212 yards. Michigan still won 21 to 7. He was 14 to 25 for 212, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, Michigan ran the ball 53 times for 183 yards, got a touchdown out of it. Probably should have had 2 touchdowns out of it. I don't see a problem with this offense. I don't. I mean, you want questions answered, right? And I mean, I think the offensive line answered questions against Wisconsin. And then, okay, well, here's another question. How does your offensive line do against the number 1 ranked rush defense in the country? Well, I think that question was answered too. And I think that Michigan State's numbers were inflated a little bit. You see what 2 good running backs have done back to back. What is wrong with Quinn Nordin? I do not know. I don't know. That is a good question. Jonathan Seward says his Adam hat was because he ate his hat. I did. I ate it this morning with some bacon and eggs, poured some syrup on it, trying to make. It's a metaphoric. I don't even know. It's a metaphoric point. Am I using that word? Am I using that correctly? I gotta break out my thesaurus here. Anyway, I'm trying to make a point. I really did not eat my hat, but making a point. Tarik saw the field. He didn't have any catches, so I'm compromising. So, is that okay? Was Cleek Hudson even playing yesterday? Yeah, Cleek was playing yesterday. Kevin Durbin says, who came in to replace Juwan Bushell-Beatty? I didn't think it was Mayfield or Hudson, was it? Let me look. I think it was. I have an answer. 1 second. It was Andrew Stuber. Andrew Stuber came in to replace Juwan Bushell-Beatty. Alan Pitney says, so you're saying Cron had more rushing yards than their entire offense? I am saying that. Michigan State had 94. Let's go through the stats. Total yards, 395 to 94. Pass yards, 212 to 79. Rush yards, 183 to 15. Penalties, 9 for 99 to 4 for 40. Michigan had more than double the penalties Michigan State had. First downs, 19-11 Michigan. 7 to 17 on third downs. Michigan State 0 for 12 on third downs. I don't know if I've ever seen that in my life. 0 for 12 on third downs. So Michigan 1 for 1 on fourth. Michigan State 0 for 1. Total plays. Here's the big deal right here. 78 total plays to 51 total plays. 5.1 yards per play to 1.8. Average yards per completion 15.1 to 11.3. But time of possession. I won't bore you guys with a bunch of these other numbers. 4103 to 1857. You dominated 2/3 of the clock. Nearly 400 total yards. You had the big touchdown play. You ran the ball 33 times with Karan Higdon. I don't think there's any cause of worry for this offense. Was it all sparkles and fireworks and everything? No, but they ate up the clock in a game where weather was going to matter. There was strategy into this. And I saw a tweet from Huge. If you guys are in Michigan, you guys know who Huge is. I cannot agree with it. He said that Don Brown is the real hero of the game, something to that effect, and that Jim Harbaugh was, again, outcoached in a big game offensively. How was Jim Harbaugh outcoached in a big game offensively? I don't get it. When you more than triple you run up more than 3 times Michigan State's average, right? Michigan State was averaging like 62.3 rush yards given up per game. Michigan had 183. I mean, you ring that up nearly threefold. How is that being outcoached offensively? I don't get it. So, all right, we're with the stats. If you guys want to know any more stats, we could do that, but I just wanted to go over some of the major ones. So, Jay Marion says Metellus is most improved. I agree with that. I was actually talking about that. Yeah, guys, Khaleke Hudson definitely played yesterday. Um, any other questions? Muhammad Malik 499 super chat. Thank you, Muhammad. He said, don't forget to check your mentions on Twitter. Yeah, again, guys, at Adam Biggers 81. Follow me on Twitter. Let me get on right here. Muhammad Malik says, for the live stream, what do you think of MSU for remainder of the season? I mean, this is a mentality breaking game. Lewerke's hurt. That offensive line is banged up. No Felton Davis anymore. I mean, this is a psychological turning point for sure for a football team. You just got beat down at home. The score doesn't reflect it. You got beat down at home by Michigan. Again, Felton Davis is out for the rest of it. He's done at Michigan State. Brian Lewerke. I didn't expect L.J. Scott to play. L.J. Scott didn't. He looked good on a few runs, but I mean that was about it. Michigan State. Now I think this is good. This is a season where lucky to. You got to shoot for 7-5, 8-4 to try to get a decent bowl game. I think that's the goal right now for Michigan State. Maybe try to salvage a little bit of hope for next year if you can knock off Ohio State. James Stewart said, yup, he ate his hat. Bruce McGraw says, what's with Nordine kicking knuckleballs? Again, I don't know. A mental thing. And I'm wondering if he's having maybe their issue with the snap. I tweeted yesterday it looked like Nordine hesitated or dragged his foot. I couldn't see because the kicker or the holder's back is to me. So I wasn't able to see the angle on TV. Evidently that snap was mishandled. So on the extra point. So Nordine, when it looked like I didn't know if he stuttered or dragged his foot, that was that. Is Nordine working through an injury? I don't know if he is. Mitchell Clifton says, do we get to choose which hat you're going to eat since Black played? No, I already ate it. I'm sorry. But like I said, I'm going with I didn't really eat it. Metaphorically, I ate it. We're going with a loophole on this because he was only on the field for like a handful of plays. He was not targeted, a decoy. I almost wonder like why even play him if you weren't going to use him like that. I mean, it was just out there. So, but I did say if he'd play, I mean, yeah, technically I probably should, but listen, I'm going with a loophole on this, okay? I'm sorry. I was right, though, about we'll see Tarik Black before we see Rashan Gary. And again, with not firm up, we don't have firm updates on Rashan Gary. It's very easy to speculate. And, now, again, people are going to tie this to the Nick Bosa thing. And is Rashan done? And I don't know. Can't confirm. Nordine needs his wild thing. Yeah, the wild thing is no longer. RPJ says, my grandpa could be a Michigan place kicker, and he has gout. Jeez. I want to see. Do you have a video of him? We got to see him. Maybe they should see if they can bring Kenny Allen back for the rest of the year. Michigan Man says, I think it was the rain messing Nordine up. And, I mean, it's on the road, too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And kicking is certainly one of the more mental aspects of sports. I mean, being a kicker, a lot of that is I mean, I don't know. I'm not a kicker. But I've talked to Kenny Allen about it. Ask other kickers and punters. I mean, it's a mental game. It really is. So, J. James 616 says, I hate MSU too much to consider as a little brother. Walter Mitchell said, I said Mark takes shots at Michigan. So you take shots, you receiver. I don't know what you mean there, Walter. Then on 11:04:6, no more little brother, let it die and just win. Coach Ryan says, hat eating time. Keep up the good work, big homie. Thanks, Coach Ryan. I appreciate it. Thomas Bendit. Hey, Thomas, how's it going? Not sure if you talked about this, but seems like Don Brown has figured out Dantonio's offense. MSU did nothing the last 2 years, and most of their points of 2016 were after the game was over. I totally agree, Thomas. I mean, Michigan, elite defense, no question about it. Yeah, Don Brown deserves a lot of credit for this, too. I mentioned a little bit earlier, Huge made a comment about Jim Harbaugh being out-coached offensively. I do not buy into that. I think the Michigan's game plan was perfectly tailored for a game like this. I mean, other than the fumbles, but I mean, those aren't game plan for, right? And here's an interesting note too, guys. I want to mention about Shea Patterson. When Shea Patterson fumbled, I asked Tarik Kinnel, and here's the article. It's on greatlakesdivide.squarespace.com. Let me get out of this so I can. He poked his head in the defensive huddle and told them that they're not going to lose that game. So if you want to talk about big time moments from big time guys, I mean, again, Shea Patterson's not 300, 350 a game and 3-4 passing touchdowns, but he's telling these guys they're not going to lose. He's setting personal bests. He's got one of the longest runs in Michigan history. I mean, it's just Shea Patterson's doing it. Chris Hawk says they double the spread. $20. Chris, you are a man of your word. I appreciate it, Chris, in the super chat. Thank you. Joe Picado says, I don't believe Lewerke is hurt. He is hurt. He threw a game-winning touchdown last week and was fine. No mention of anything all week. And Warner slipped up and said he was healthy. Well, they said he didn't practice all week either. So, I mean, I guess there are some discrepancies. I was speaking with Ryan Schuling about it. He said that Brian Lewerke was hurt. DJ S says Sparty got more yards during their Spartan walk during the actual game. That's actually true because they went for 100 on that. So, I mean, he's not lying. That is a clever observation. He's not lying. It's not like I was joking. I said one time it was at a Michigan game. I had more yards walking to the buffet. I think it was the Wisconsin. No, it wasn't the Wisconsin game. It was the Nebraska game. No, this literally Michigan State 100-yard walk was more than the yards produced in the game. Alan Pitney, do you think Metellus Hill was targeting? No, I don't. Janstein von Squidmerstein says go blue. Joe Brocado says I don't believe. Okay, I already read that. If I forgot your comment, let me know. I'm trying to go up. Dale Terry says sidebar. The bleep eyes through 73 times. That is crazy. Okay, back to the regular scheduled program. Eric Gross says, what I don't want to see is the excuses. I feel there will be a lot of excuses from MSU fans and media members as why they lost. I don't want to hear. I mean, there shouldn't be any excuses. We talked about this in the live stream before the game. Pound for pound, player for player, position group for position group. Michigan held the edge and all of that. The only thing I was giving Michigan State, if it was going to be a one-score game, if it was going to come down to a field goal, I'd take Coughlin over Nordine. And, I mean, there were a couple individual players from Michigan State that had good games, but, I mean, Michigan State's offensive line beaten up already. Jordan Reed could not handle Josh Uche yesterday. Michigan State's right tackle, he could not handle Josh Uche. There were so many mismatches on that. And we talked about MSU's O-line versus Michigan's D-line and what that would be like. And I just did not see Michigan State's offensive line faring well. And Ryan Schuling and I were talking about this on the podcast. Who would have more rushing yards, Shea Patterson or Brian Lewerke? And Lewerke's rushing yards minus 11. Shea Patterson had 24. I said it was going to be Lewerke only because he was going to be running for his life. So I thought that there were going to be more opportunity for him. But Josh Uche with a 10-yard sack on Lewerke. So without that sack, Lewerke would still be -1. I picked and he rushed 4 times, 4 official rushing attempts. But I figured Lewerke would end up with more rushing yards only because he would be running for his life. And he was running for his life. Completion, I mean, this is like the worst completion percentage of any quarterback in Michigan State rivalry history. I looked it up. 5 of 25 for 66 yards. 5 of 25. I mean, that's... You don't see that. I mean, again, this was not... There shouldn't be any excuses on Michigan State's end. Outplayed, out-physicaled, got owned at your own house. I mean, that's what happened. Matt the Destroyer says, 49-20, talking about Purdue over Ohio State. Brian Phelps says, Michigan had a good offensive game plan and good D-line yesterday. I had a great D-line yesterday. RPJ says, I went to high school with Tarik Kinnel. He's a leader and has improved along with Josh. I really like Tarik. He has become a guy, he wasn't real vocal about like 3 years ago. These past couple years, he's really stepped into more of a leadership role. I really like Tarik. And speaking of Tarik, check out the videos on my YouTube channel, guys. Got a ton of subscribers. Within the past 24 hours, people are seeing the stuff. You guys are already subscribers, so you know what's on there. Video of Tyreek Kittle. I went live. Devin Bush talking about the incident. Got Jim Harbaugh on there, and was not able to get Lavert Hill. But then who else did I get? And then Karan, DPJ, and Shea Patterson, all in one. They all sat up there together. So, try to go through these comments, guys. Cam Snyder says the only good play MSU ran was the Philly special for the touchdown. That was it. Antoine Johnson says he wasn't out, coach, but he damn near gave the game away by letting State stick around. I mean, it's going to be a tight. I mean, there's going to be those tense moments, right? It's a rivalry game, but I don't think Harbaugh was out coached in any way. If I missed your comment, guys, I'm going to go just down to the bottom to get current. If I missed your comment and I haven't covered it yet, please resubmit it or your question. I'm not trying to skip, but I don't want to get too backed up here. So if it's an important comment and I didn't get a chance to go over it, please resubmit it. Matt the Destroyer says 2 Rutgers and Indiana should be given wins with little to no risk of upset. Anton Johnson says, Adam, are you ever going to do a call-in show? And Uche needs to start. Gary needs to play DT. I mean, I would like it because I want you guys, it'd be cool to, I hear you guys' comments and everything, or I can read them and everything, but it'd be cool if you guys called in. I would like to work on that. Ideally, maybe we take this to radio one day, but I like this format because it's we can do what we want to do, we can basically say what we want to say within reason. And the only thing missing is you guys, the actual voice of the viewers, but you guys certainly control these live streams, and that's why I like it. It's a lot of fun. Big Psych, what's up with Tarik and Rashan? Rashan didn't travel. Tarik played a little bit. Greg Rye says, guys just like to complain to appear smart. We're number 1 in the Big Ten. Lots of compliments about Josh Uche. Pat myself on the back. Been saying this about Josh Uche. And Josh Metellus. Joe Provost says, I'm saying if they beat Penn State, safe to assume that they take care of business against Indiana and Rutgers. Going into the Ohio State game, it will be Rose Bowl or playoff. Obviously want the latter. I agree with you, Joe. Robert Pottsman says Lewerke should have been 3 for 25, 2 catches in the ground, 2 catches hit the ground. Greg Ryan says I totally support a call-in show. That'd definitely be the next level. Yeah, I guess you guys are local. The more support, the more you guys tweet, the more you guys share. I believe radio stations pick up things like that. That's basically how the radio business is. If you have enough advertising and backing, and if you have a show that there is going to be of interest. But I really like the YouTube aspect because I think YouTube is kind of where everything's going. If there's got to be a way. I'll look into it. I'll contact not only does he do the graphics and stats, but he's also the official IT person of the Great Lakes Divide live stream. That's Wes Weber Jr. Maybe I'll contact Wes and see if he's got any ideas on that because he actually helped me fix. You guys notice we don't have that focus issue as much anymore when I move. So that's thanks to Wes. Greg Ryan says everyone needs to like and share each video. Yeah, guys, the more support, the better. And I appreciate the likes, the shares, the super chat contributions. Again, thanks to everybody, especially these past few days. Really appreciate it. If you like what you see, don't be afraid to contribute. If you like what you read, I'll put the link in here for the website. You guys check it out. A lot of really good we podcasted the hell out of ourselves this week, and I think Ryan and I covered everything there was to cover in this rivalry, and I think we have too. And I have to say, on a lot of the major points that we made, a lot of them were what happened, right? The things that we discussed needed to happen. That's what Michigan needed to do to win this game. And so, I think that we hit it on the head this week. Greg Ryan says we gave him more penalty yards than the defense allowed. That's true. Raymond Smith Jr. says Ohio State overrated. Ohio State's really good, but road night game Purdue. That's kind of a tricky place to play. don't know, overrated, but I mean, you get beat 49-20 by the Boilers, so you need to buck up in your next game and prove that wasn't okay. You're not hot anymore. You know, I mean, there are a lot of things, right? It's getting late in the season. We're going to start seeing, we're in the second half of the season now. We're going to start seeing who's for real and who isn't. 4 games left. Every team's got some injuries. You know, every team's got, you know, those type of issues after you've played 8 games. Michigan 5-0 in the Big Ten, 7-1 overall. Now we're going to start seeing who's for real and who's not for real. I'm not saying that Michigan hasn't proven already to this point, but you guys get what I'm saying. Crunch time, this is when things are really going to get interesting. So, Brendan Armstrong says, love the way this team is playing right now. Once we get Black and Gary back, it's crazy. We could get better. Only thing I would like to see is Patterson take more shots in the beginning of the game. I mean, truthfully, like, I've made this point, guys, and I'm not like knocking Rashan Gary. I'm just saying, this defense is not, there's not a drop-off without Rashan Gary. There just isn't. I mean, I don't see it. Stat-wise, it's not there. I mean, Josh Uche is getting his. Josh Uche is actually getting more sacks than Rashan Gary was getting at that position. And I know that Rashan gets a double team. My point being is this defense is still really good, right? And I mean, and if Rashan's not 100%, he's going to come back when he's 100%. But if he's not at 100%, why want him in there? I mean, I guess that's my question. I mean, I get, 100% Rashan Gary. I get what you guys are saying in theory, but I mean, this defense, there has not been a drop-off. The defensive line especially has not been a drop-off. And we're seeing, I mean, Kyle Count played yesterday. Aubrey Solomon had a good game. I mean, watch the tape. Aubrey Solomon was getting a lot of push. Michael Dwumfor, Brian Monet. I mean, this D-line is playing very well. Matt the Destroyer 2 says, at Adam Biggers, what rank do you think Michigan will jump to? I mean, it's got to be probably 4. It's got to be number 4. I would think so. And let's, real quick, while you bring that up, let's bring it up. CBS Sports, because it has been released. CBS Sports released one, the top 25. Tomorrow's top 25 today, so this was done last night. Had Michigan at number 5. I don't know. I could see Michigan at number 4. Joe Provo says, Adam, I know the official game time comes out tomorrow, but do you have a prediction for Penn State game time? I think it'll be 3:30. I think it'll be a 3:30 game. They don't. Mike Zordich does not like night games. I don't think Harbaugh likes night games. You know, it's for the TV and everything. I would assume it's a 3:30 kickoff. I hope it's a 3:30. I mean, I'd like to see it at noon, but. James Seward says LSU has 3 top wins. Michigan needs help to reach number 4. That's true, James. That is true. Jonathan Seward said, I mean, Michigan at number 5 is going to be more than fair. Would I be surprised at number 4? I would not be surprised at number 4. And again, I mean, we got to see the shakeup. Well, Ohio State losing, I mean, that opens the door for people who are big on a Big Ten team, I guess. I don't know, but we'll see when the polls come out. I would not, 4 or 5 is definitely fair. I mean, and that's not too far of a stretch, right? I mean, Michigan entered this game at number 6, but I'd like to think that a dominating road win against the rival ranked opponent means something as well. But yeah, a good point, LSU. Greg Ryan says, I don't enjoy Adam more than any other Michigan platform. Those guys are entitled and don't relate. You do or you don't, and don't relate as well with their fans. Antoine Johnson says, I wish college football would go to 8-game play. I do too. DJS says, don't change a thing, Adam. You have the best coverage of Michigan football. Unbiased and factual, despite you keep your Sparty fandom a secret. Matt the Destroyer says, number 2, Clemson. Number 3, Notre Dame. Number 4, Michigan. With Alabama obviously being number 1. Greg, I can't help but laugh at that. That was a good one. Greg Rice says, Antoine, I want to hang out with you and drink whatever you're drinking. Don't confuse stats with talent. No one schemes for Uche. I like Oh, those are your playoff predictions. Yeah, I like Uche a lot. I hope you're right, Adam. But what makes you think we go to number 4? Maybe putting a little bit more stock into a road win. Number 5 is conservative. Number 5 is probably fair. But I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. A hot Michigan team right now, coming off this type of win at Michigan State. I would not be shocked at number 4, but I think number 5 is probably more realistic. Now, a win over Penn State, then I think, and again, it depends what teams ahead of them do, but Michigan has the potential to finish the season as a top 4 ranked team. There's the opponent, the strength of the opponent is there, the name of the opponent, and there's still Penn State, Ohio State. You win out, Michigan's got to win the Big Ten championship. Michigan's got to be in there. Michigan's sitting pretty right now, especially with Ohio State losing to Purdue. And I guess if you're a Michigan fan, you got to hope someone else can handle Ohio State a loss to where the season-ending loss in Columbus wouldn't necessarily keep Michigan out of the Big Ten championship game. The college football playoff rank, they come out week 8. Any other questions, comments that I missed, guys? We're going on 57 minutes, so I do want to wrap it up a little bit. Robert Prossman says, when 11-1 lost to Notre Dame, Michigan get in, or Bama 11-1 lost to LSU get in. I guess it depends on the end of the season, obviously, and what Notre Dame does. That's a good question, though, and I would think that the nod. It depends on how the playoff seedings go, because there's basically a built-in spot for Notre Dame should Notre Dame have a good enough season to be talked about. When 11-1 lost to Notre Dame, get Michigan, and 11-1 lost to LSU to get LSU. So 11-1 LSU get in over an 11-1 Michigan. Is that what you're asking me? Am I reading that right? I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble with it. RJ Booker says, I think Notre Dame should be ranked higher than Clemson. What's Clemson's signature win? Robert Pottsman says Michigan wins the Big Ten. College football playoffs come out next week. Yes. James Stewart says USC has a good chance to spoil Notre Dame. Joe Provo says committee will weigh the head-to-head in that regard. Fuzzy Boy says Jim needs to recruit more people from Florida. They got that dog, then Uche, Devin Bush. They brought, Devin Gill as well, Josh Metellus. Those Florida guys are valuable. Coach Ryan says Chase is a crazy ass manimal. I'm glad he came back. His draft stock is rising nationally. Happy for him. Yeah, Chase Winovich is playing like the best defensive end in college football. I don't think there's really much debate about that. Matt the Destroyer 2 says if Michigan finished 12-1, they'd go in over an 11-1 Bama. Antoine Johnson says that's why college football needs at least 8-team playoff system. Personally, I'm hoping for total chaos, so changes. I think 8-team would be fair. I think 8 is fair. 16, Harbaugh wants it like a 16. I think that's a little bit too much. I think an 8-team, if you can't identify 8 teams that are capable and that are worthy of that, I don't think it needs to go beyond 8, because I think that might be some lopsided games. Michigan fan says, when are you going to air this week? I don't know. We're waiting on the email. I don't think there's going to be a press conference tomorrow. I'm wondering, with the bye week, I'm wondering how that's going to change availability schedules. But I'll try to go at least 3 times. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. With the Friday score prediction show brought to you by Mr. Spot. So we'll definitely do that. Joe Provo says Ohio State fans are really out here criticizing Urban for his game plan last night, but won't criticize him for the off the field issues. Matt the Destroyer says more than 8 would be stupid. All right. Does Penn State? Okay. Let's try to keep it clean a little bit, guys. I know what's in the news, but I just don't want to try to bring that type. If it's constructive, but I mean, this isn't really. That's Mr. Ryan, 6'5", 20. I mean, that. How does that pertain to the conversation? So I'm not trying to be the fun police or censor or anything, but I mean, if you get into those kind of shots, back it up with some evidence. If it's just some random disparaging remark, let's try not to do that. So anyway, guys, hey, I got to get going. We're an hour right now on the dot. Appreciate everybody for watching. If I didn't get to your comments or questions, it was not on purpose. Tweet me at AdamBiggers81. Follow me. I'll try to answer them on Twitter if I have time. If not, we can address them tomorrow during the next live stream. Again, follow me on Twitter at AdamBiggers81. Follow Great Lakes Divide on Twitter at GLDivide. Facebook at Great Lakes Divide. And I want to give a final shout out to our title sponsor, FederalWilliams.com. That's FEDERAU Williams.com. Contact Mike Williams for all of your real estate needs. If any of you are in the market, buying or selling, contact Mike Williams. Let him know that I sent you. FederalWilliams.com. FEDERAU Williams.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Great participation. Real fun show. It was a fun week last week. We'll keep talking about the impact of Michigan State during Michigan's bye week, shifting the focus a little bit to Penn State, but Penn State seems like it's kind of far away now, but there's definitely a lot of time to digest this Michigan win. I'll have a bunch of written content, and again, check out the podcasts we'll have this week. If you want to listen to the podcast we did last week going into this game, you're more than welcome to. And again, this is my latest right here on Shea. I wrote before the game that this could be a legacy game for Shea Patterson. Well, here's the follow-up, because guess what? It was. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Adam. You guys are you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll talk again tomorrow.